allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello.
Okay, so, neither Leanne nor Mackenzie will be here tonight for personal reasons. So I'll take the roll call. Dick Bradshaw.
I'm here.
Cameron Yates.
Here.
And I am here. And we'll first have a reading of minutes from the November 2nd meeting. Are there any additions and corrections? Corrections to them?
We accept the minutes of November.
November 2nd?
Second.
Is it? Cameron, make a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. All those in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Next is claims. We have claims of $235,446.01. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the amount of $23,544.46 and 1 penny.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yes. Do you know if Pavement Solutions is done?
They are done for this year. And, the properties the roads that we get done with microsurface, with your Creek Drive, Carter Street, Prince William. And then, there was, modified asphalt, emulsion microsurface, also applied, to, portions of Monroe Street. But that was, they are complete for this year, so that should be the last bill.
There's one reason I'm asking is they left 20 tons of stuff. Put it in last year. The second was just fine. The city uses it anyway.
Cold minutes.
No, it's
Or
just,
they leave it.
no, it's, yeah, I don't know, it's that stuff they use. You know, they have two ingredients, one's kind of white and one's kind of really dark. Well, this is kind of a mix of the two, and it's a big 20 tons of that stuff. I know that sometimes Aaron uses it for whatever.
For winter time.
But it's not a problem.
Right.
Not complaining, because I've used it myself.
Any,
It's handy, you won't get the freezing cold
Any
or
other-
it starts popping.
any other questions? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I am aye. Okay, on new business, we have, in your packet, the city earlier this year received a $596,233, grant from Oprah. This is the Community Development Block Grant Funds, for additional work on the City of Delphi's drinking water improvements. And this current project will basically replace 2-inch galvanized pipe with 6-inch ductile pipe, and add hydrants where needed along Brewer Street, Wells Street, Charles Street, Pine Street, Market Street, and then, an area of Front Street. So BFS was the only firm that responded to a request for qualifications that was sent out by our grant administrator, Kankakee Iroquois Regional Planning Commission, or CRPC. And, we accepted them as the only engineering firm that applied. And their agreement for, basically for oversight and inspection of that job is for $60,000, which is basically 10% of the grant, is attached in the packet.
I have a question. Appendix D. The $60 hour. Now, I think it means 60 or not to exceed That's the total.
The total is not to
It's
exceed.
not $60,000 an
Per
hour.
hour, yeah, that's why I think the
It's
first
not,
is actually.
the total is not.
Forget that, I won't take it.
Yeah, I'm in the wrong bit.
Do you think that's what that means, that when they pick the resident project representative, that you will be billed up to $60,000 an hourly rate based on
Yes,
those
at an
standards?
hourly rate that is in appendix
Right.
D1, so the maximum is 60,000, with rates billed per appendix
Okay,
D1.
as long as we flag that to make sure that means 60,000 total.
But this will all come out of that grant, correct? So the money is there for this program.
Yes.
We don't have, we haven't had a bid, so we don't know what's gonna cost.
Correct, and part of what they will do will be completing that survey.
Is there an engineer's estimate?
The engineer's estimate was the 596.
That would have included that 60,000.
So, the engineering fees are generally included.
That has nothing,
We probably had a, we may have had a match on this one. We also paid Curbsy separately for their grant services. But, the match would come out of the water.
this has nothing to do with the wastewater or the surface water.
It's not stormwater.
That's all we just
It's
worked
all
on.
municipal water.
Don't those kind of cross each other someplace down there on, based on Market Street?
So what they're doing with this, and look at where these are, a lot of this is connecting with the water mains that will run, from 107 on that, and replacing old 2-inch pipes, galvanized pipes, or larger galvanized pipes with ductile. So tying in the service lines to properties. So it's basically upgrading to, along Prince William, the side streets there, Vine and so forth. Will get, those properties are going to tie in with ductile line and pipe to service the rest of the house.
I didn't see that wrong, but I see Charles
Mine is.
Brewer and, well,
You didn't see Market on there, is that what you're saying?
Markets on there from Howard Street. to-
well, I see Mark, I didn't see anything on Prince William.
But, well, Prince William has already been done. This
That's
takes the
separate.
service from Prince William down Vine Street, for example. Okay, those new service lines that were run as part of the capital improvement project. So this will tie in basically new, larger mains down the streets to Prince William water main, large water main. So is there a motion to accept the agreement from the Midwest Engineering?
So moved.
Second.
Any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
And by aye. So we are ready for miscellaneous business and, are there any board comments or requests?
You got any kind of update on the water situation? What do you know?
So, as you know, they were able to get the main that went underneath the creek unstuck and got all of that pipe pulled out. They have successfully pulled all of the pipe, from Prince William down, through the old Ross Road, into the park. And now they're fusing the pipe sections to rerun from Wilson Street underneath the creek and back to Riley Park. I think they had planned to start pulling today. I believe they're still fusing pipe though, so that probably will start in the next day or two. And you know, if that is successful, then that will basically complete the work on, the run of the mains. There still is other work taking place. We did get the easement signed with you, so, Colin is preparing to connect the two tanks, and they will do that once the, main has been, excuse me, once the main has been pulled through. That's, this week's priority is pulling the rest of the main from Wilson through, and buttoning up Wilson Street for the winter. And then we'll work on connecting the two tanks, through the easement, through the FPV easement.
And so they haven't done that yet, but they have permission.
They have the permission now, and, so, you know, they'll start that work, either late this week or next week.
Did we get a completion date? I mean, something, I know we had something in mind for the spring, but so the completion date and update on
I
it?
don't know what I think they're just gonna keep you working while we have weather, so, you know, there'll be fewer and fewer things that they'll be doing. We've gotten most of the site graded up at the, new tank site. Whether they're still trying to decide whether to try to get trees planted this fall or wait until spring on that and the rest of the landscaping up there. But they, you know, will start demobilizing heavy equipment once they complete the work through it to tie the tanks together, once their share of water mains are fused. So,
Did we ever figure out why that wasn't included? Why did you anticipate that a problem with one from one tank to the other crossing the road?
it was always included in the scope. What wasn't included was what they wanted us to do for the easement. So, but getting the easement was in the scope of work. And they, you know, basically, initially Butler Chairman Seibert, started working on that very early on at, phase 2. So, it just, to the end of, you know, end of time, I guess you might say, or end of the work schedule, to finally get it signed. It has been signed and recorded, and so they're getting it.
One question I have, and I've reached out to Aaron on it, is, so Wilson Street, from the tracks, to the north, towards the county line there, is paved on one side, and the other side's not paved. I've had some people ask me why that is, and Aaron kind of gave me a free answer on it, but are we planning on next year allocating any money to finish that to where it's all one uniform pavement, or?
So Wilson Street, from where they stopped the pavement, on both sides of the road, is part of next year's community crossings matching grant application. And it would then call for, basically sidewalk and curb along the rest, you know, of Wilson going out. And so that's why it was not, you know, when they didn't do more pavement with that. We had plans to do more restoration on Wilson Street and, to, you know, basically upgrade as we do that. And, so it was one of the projects that was submitted in the end of October application for community crossings grant dollars. Whether we'll receive that money or not, in this round is unknown, of course, but, the application is done, and so we can continue to resubmit as, funds become available to community crossings. So it is intended to get an upgrade, and that's why it was not, you know, why it was only completed for half of the street.
Okay.
Any other comments from the board? Clerk treasurer is not here, so, public comments, and I think, Matt, did you have something to?
Hi, yeah, I was afraid that maybe it was closed to the public and by Zoom only, and I didn't know, but I'm gonna move forward just a little bit, that way we don't have to shout back and forth. I didn't mean to be right right up front for the rest of the business, but this one, the way you can hear.
Always good to see you.
We're still 6 feet apart too, so.
We are.
Yeah, I called the mayor the other day, once we heard about the new statewide mandates, particularly, for masks, in the public. And I asked her if the city is considering anything, that would take that a step farther. You know, the government's left it open to municipalities going even farther. This new mandate that started, effectively today, has a little bit more bite to it, you know, that the public is still required to wear masks just like they were before. However, before there was really no enforcement whatsoever. It was just a, hey, we hope you guys do this. This one, you know, now the health department, Department of Homeland Security, and I believe one other agency, are allowed to patrol this for businesses. If you're allowing people in without one, you can be cited. You know, if you get cited 3 times, you can lose your license. Or a multiple of licenses that you might carry through the state, which is good. I'm glad that they took, you know, a little bit farther of a step. It's not that I like it so much, but I'm glad that they're doing a few more things in preparation to it. But it still doesn't answer the question of what do we do for the general public, and they left that up to the municipalities. And I was just wondering if there was anything that we were considering at this time to take that a step farther. And the reason I ask that is because right now the burden of this is solely placed on the businesses around town. You know, we're the good guys and the bad guys in the public opinion, you know, and you know, it's okay, you know, for the few people, you know, it doesn't affect, you know, it doesn't affect a lot. You know, I'll be honest that, you know, more and more people have gotten used to this idea and started doing it. You know, I don't have too many people, but the ones that do, you know, make a pretty big ruckus of it, and they are able to then start spreading that to other people as well. It makes you, you know, be the person taking their rights away. And I'm not trying to do that, you know, I'm just trying to people that, you know, keep the people that A, work for me and come into my business, you know, safe. I have that responsibility to provide the environment, you know, inside my business, and so, that's what I'm trying to do, you know, but I get kind of bombarded by, you know, the people that say, you know, well, you have no right, you know, this is not legal. People that say, well, I have a health ailment, you know, it doesn't matter what I offer in terms of, you know, well, we have curbside delivery, you know, we'll do your shopping for you, you know, you can call in, it doesn't matter, it becomes, you know, you're doing this as a business. And I spoke to the mayor about it and said, I would love to see kind of our city leaders have our backs a little bit in terms of saying, no, it's not their decision, this is our decision. You know, you have to have this on if you're gonna come in, and, you know, if you don't, there will be a penalty because of it as an individual of the public. And like I said, I'm worried about the public in general, of course, but I'm worried about my people a lot. You know, the people that work for me, you know, I have a pretty decent staff, but I can't afford to lose too many of them, you know, and if they start getting sick, you know, I'm gonna deal with the fact that I can't operate my business, or I'm gonna deal with public opinion on the other side of it. If people start getting sick around here, and my people, or some of them, people won't wanna shop with me because I had that in my business, you know, they'll stay away. Things like that could be crippling for business, and a lot of people around here know that, you know, they've had to be shut down. I've been fortunate that, you know, during the shutdowns and things, I didn't have to be shut down. But I require, you know, daily cash flow. If I don't get it, you know, I would go under pretty quick. So, things like that have me concerned, and so that's why I was bringing that to the board. And I know there are some municipalities around us that have done it. There are some over in Ohio that I know of. I don't have a whole lot of examples to provide, but I just didn't know if that was on your guys' mind and what you might be thinking because of it.
So because the state now has a mandate for masks, requiring masks and requiring businesses to have signs and to not allow people in, it's basically no shoes, no shirt, no mask, no service. And the enforcement of that, I know the Common has posted the governor's executive order or excerpts from it. We posted that on the city's Facebook page. What is available now to the businesses would be one, you know, your property is private. So if you have signage posted, and if someone comes in without a mask, and you know, indicate to them, that, you know, they can't enter the store if they don't have a mask on. That, you know, by order of the state, by order of, you know, the health department, that is a requirement for you doing business. And, if they create a ruckus, you call the police, and, they come and talk with the individual, and they're basically trespassing at that point.
Yeah.
So, that is the remedy that is available today, for you as a, or any other business in town. Because the signage is now a requirement, you know, I have, talked to our chief of police about, certainly about the trespass that we just spoke about a minute ago. And, you know, we'll also begin just kind of going around town to make sure that businesses do have the signage up. You know, that people are making a good effort to respond to the requirements. So, beyond that, I don't know much else that, I mean, there already is a state mandate. We are complying with it, by, you know, the information that we have posted and will continue to post, on, the city's, website and on the, you know, Facebook page, and, you know, making rounds to see that businesses are complying. Is there something other than that you would like to see us do?
Well, yeah, I was hoping that maybe we could institute, and I think it's gotta be done on a week-by-week basis. You know, but a city mandate, you know, that is enforceable by the police, where you would be cited as a public individual, and would have some sort of civil penalty. Everything that you're talking about right now, I know, you know, when the first, mandate came about, you know, we covered all those bases in our business. You know, we've had our own people, you know, following these rules long before even the state did. And so we have attempted to do it as best we can for people. You know, we've had problems, sure, you know, I've not called the police on anybody. I don't wanna be the guy that has someone arrested because of this, you know, by any means. And again, that falls on, you know, my doing. I have to call the police, I have to say that they're trespassing. You know, if they're without a mask down in my store and the health department sees, you know, that I'm the one that gets cited, you know, that puts the entire burden on the business. I want some of it to go on the public too. You know, I want some of this to be their responsibility just like it is mine. So that's what I'm wondering. Like the city of Monticello did something back in May, that was similar to this. The city of Dayton does it right now. You know, I think it's an $85 fine if you're cited, in public without one on. Things like that. I was wondering if we could consider, or if you had considered, just because that would say, you know, hey, we're unified behind this, you know, this is something that you all have to do. There will be penalties for everybody, you know, if it's not followed. And I think that we're in a situation right now where we need to take it more seriously. You know, we can either do things in the middle and it will never really get any better, or we can actually do things that matter. So that's my opinion on it. You know, I might be the only one, but that's the way I see it.
If we were to do something, like you're suggesting, that would require a fine, that would have to go before council. So that would be, basically a resolution or ordinance that, you know, could later be rescinded by, virtue of, you know, COVID being passed. But, what is this body's feeling?
Well, we're not elected, so the elected body has to make that kind of a decision. I guess it's up to us to participate in the enforcement of it. I would say until they've done that, until you don't even know what they're gonna do, but until they've done that, then I'd say we don't have much power or authority to do anything.
How many people do you get weekly? I mean, I know you get a good portion of people that are abiding by the law. Do you get several a day, several a week, or just a few a week that?
Oh, every day. You know, there are handfuls of people every day. It has gotten a lot better, you know, the last week, you know, especially. It's gotten a lot better, but, you know, there are handfuls every day that, you know, either refuse or, you know, there's a lot of forgets, you know, there's a lot of, you know, okay, I left it in the car, I'll run back out and get it, but, you know, people that don't, you know, and I can't devote a staff member to stand up front and check everybody, you know, so it's hard to get everybody coming through the door. And by the time they've been in and things like that, you know, it's, sometimes, you know, if they've been in for a few minutes or walked up to the office and done something, you know, at that point, I wouldn't say the damage is done, you know, we still ask them, you know, but, you know, there's a lot of people that fight back, there's a lot of people that take to social media, you know, and say things about you, and, you know, everyone else jumps on, you know, that, you know, oh yeah, they're terrible, you know, they're this, they're that, you know, and that's why I was coming to you thinking, well, you know, we need some people to stand behind our businesses, so.
So it's certainly something we can put on the agenda for the council, which means, the 7th of December, so that is a few weeks away.
Yeah, that was my concern with everything being shut down. You know, if we just keep putting it off and putting it off, you know, you might not get very far with it, but, yeah, I understand.
Yeah, it's gotta go through the proper steps first.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that meeting is until, it might not be a bad idea to have work through this week.
Yeah,
And
we can
meeting
certainly
this
talk
week.
to Brooke in the meantime about this as well, but yeah, I'm sure he would want to be present. So that meeting would be the 7th of December.
Okay.
The bottom line is, can you enforce how we
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah, I can enforce it, you know, like, I will continue to do it as we have been. We will be a little bit more vigilant. I've already had a meeting with my people saying, okay, you know, don't let the people go, you know, there's a problem, you know, I'm there a lot more than I'd like to be, number one, but, you know, I'm not there every single day, you know, or every single hour of every day. I'm actually there almost every single day, but, so in the evening times, you know, I have, you know, a lot of 16 and 17-year-old kids, you know, that are up front, you know, that are enforcing it, you know. I've got a couple of Delphi people who are very good about it, you know, they'll say, no, I can't help you, you know, if you're gonna come to the counter without one. They get the most blow, you know, but there have been several of my, you know, especially my cashiers up front, you know, a couple 16-year-old girls that the first time they had somebody argue with them about it, you know, it was intimidating, it was scary, and they didn't wanna do it again, you know, and I don't wanna put them in that position. That's not their job, you know, so, I wanna put it in the hands of the people that it is their job, so.
You know,
But someone
Menards
says-
had a mandatory worker, and they had somebody stand at the door, you didn't get in. They don't do that anymore, or at least they haven't the last time I was there. But I'll agree with you that it seems to me that to improve tremendously, there's, just about every place has got a sign, and just about everybody honors that. You may just be some people that are just, you'll go someplace else if there's someplace else to go. Or-
Yeah, and that's the other part, or the other part that I'm trying to avoid too. I don't wanna drive people away, you know, if I'm the one enforcing this and our friends down the street aren't, you know, I don't wanna turn people, you know, to someplace else because I'm looking out for my employees, you know, so that's why I thought if we had the same rules that were enforced by our city and our police department and things like that, you know, then it might put us back to, you know, saying, and in essence, I know what I'm asking you to take being the bad guy away from me and put it on yourselves, you know, that's, like, it's a way for me to say, like, hey, this is the city's mandate, we're following it, you know, this is, you know, and that's what, in essence, I was asking for, you know, say, instead of being at my fault, I wanted it to be yours.
But someone will still, at your place of business, be required to get hold of the police, which is what the remedy would be now.
Mhm.
And, so, I mean, even if, you know, the council were to decide that they wanted to, you know, to, put an ordinance in place that would have fines attached to it for violating, the mask requirement, there would still have to be, we don't have enough police to station a policeman at every facility.
Oh,
So
yeah,
it's
I
still
know
gonna
that.
be up to the individual businesses, and then it will still be up to the businesses to notify the police, or if you get complaints from someone that, well, down the street, they don't even have, you know, a sign on the door, so.
And on the same token, you know, the police are and should be on patrol, like when they're on duty, you know, so
And
that would
also
at least
the health
provide some.
Because that is, I mean, that requirement is also of the signs on the door, is enforceable by the health department.
Yeah.
So, you know, no guarantee that council is going to act on it, but certainly this can be on the agenda for a resolution, prepared, for, the council to review and determine if they want to take action, so, that would be, if that's, I think where we are was at this point.
Okay, so there's no emergency mandate that the mayor could implement on a 7-day basis like other cities around?
If you want a fine attached to it, then
It's
that
gotta be
is
enforceable.
required to go through the council,
Okay,
so.
just clarifying, and I just want to make sure.
So, you know, what I can do and have done is indicate that, you know, we are following the state's mandate and that this is required for local businesses. But I cannot institute a fine.
At the end of the day, if what you're saying is you wanna put on this, I get what you're saying,
Yeah.
you wanna put on the city to make them do, the cities don't have a choice, the cities can't just say, we're not gonna follow the governor's executive order.
No,
It's
no.
already gonna come on us anyway.
Yeah, but they can go farther. That's right.
Right.
They have the authority to go
It's
farther.
already gonna
than
be on
this.
every city across the state, so.
Mhm. Okay,
Okay?
just bring it to the attention, say, just bringing it up, and say it's something that I think has, hopefully, if this doesn't improve, which it doesn't look like it is, people will be a little bit more diligent about it.
Let's hope.
But, you know, just what we've experienced so far, you know, is, you know, either arguments or a loss of that customer, you know, again, and there are plenty of arguments that, you know, you've had over the years that, you know, people end up coming back, you know, I understand, you know, but, you know, I don't want this to be something I'm driving people away with because I'm trying to help, you know, and it's,
Understood.
so. That was my concern, so that's why I wanted to bring it up tonight. So thank you for hearing me, and
Thank you, Matt, and, you know, if you want to come to the meeting on the 7th, that will also be here or else virtual, depending on where we are at that time, it may be totally Zoom, but, I'll be sure to send you a link if you're interested in coming, and, it will be on the agenda.
oh, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Any other public comment? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes, but these guys back there.
They're back here for me.
A motion that we.
Second.